Hello, class. Welcome back. Thank you for those who are actively participating in the learning opportunities. Hopefully, you're well and your family is also healthy. We're going to continue on with part 3 of the week. I know that I've been doing about 3 videos a week, where the first one submitted is always the opportunity for the week. The second one's kind of a different activity, of different websites, different links, and then part 3 is kind of going through the answers for the week. And we're going to continue this on. All right. The topic is still mortgage and down payments. Goal is to talk about compound interest loans, down payments, the interest paid, the total paid, and then monthly payments. We got 4 problems picked out in the Google form, and I want to go through those right now with you. So, jumping right in, the first 2 questions that were in the Google form were based on this home. This home costs $125,000. You're going to place a down payment, and then it wants you to calculate the mortgage or calculate the total mortgage that you'd actually have to take a loan out for. Not over 30 years, not the total loan that you'd pay, but the actual loan you'd have to take in the first place. So, 125,000. You're going to take this times 0.2, because 125,000, when you multiply by 0.2, 0.20, that is going to calculate the down payment. So 125,000 times 0.2 is 25 grand. You're going to put a $25,000 down payment on this home. And so if you take 125,000, again, this part answered this part right here. That's the first question. What was your down payment? It was 25 grand. The mortgage you're going to have to borrow is when you take out the down payment off the home, you're left with a $100,000 mortgage. All right. So, that was question 1 and 2. Let's move on to question number 3 out on the Google form. You have a mortgage, $70,000 mortgage. You're going to do an interest of 12% for 30 years. Again, where I'm getting 30 years is up here. And I want to figure out the total amount that you're going to pay, and then the total interest that you're paying the bank, the extra money, not just the 70 grand for the mortgage. It'd be nice if you take out a loan that has 0% interest, so you're just paying that loan back. I know a bunch of auto dealers right now are doing that deal where you're paying literally 0 extra money. They just want you to buy the car off the lot. That's great. Take advantage of that if you can, because you're never going to see that one for a while. But on a mortgage, a little bit different. The 12%, this is crazy. So the formula, if you didn't remember from the first page, the amount you're paying total is the principal times 1 plus your rate divided by n to the nt. So the idea is that my principal, my amount that I'm borrowing is $70,000. My rate is 12%, so 0.12. We're going to go for 12 months. 12 months for 30 years. So this is all the numbers that we need to have. I'm going to switch up the color here. All right, so now 0.12 divided by 12. It should be 0.01, I should say. 0.01. We're going to add that to the number 1. That's in the parenthesis. And then we're going to put that to the power. So the power is 12 times 30, which is 360. That's the 12 times 30. This ends up being 1.01, all to the 360th power. You have to do that first, because the order of operations tells us they have to do the parentheses first, which we just finished, which is the 1.01. Then you have to do exponents, so 1.01, and if you hit the little caret key, the little up arrow key, or the X to the Y key in your calculator, and you put it to the 360th power, this ends up being, let me get rid of this ends up being 35.9496, and then you're going to multiply that on a 70 grand mortgage times $70,000. And this ends up, end up paying in the long run, and I'm just going to round this off, $251,6474.89. That is a $2 million home, $2.5 million. It's ridiculous. This 12% is killing you. You don't want to take a loan for that. Work on your credit, maybe rent for a while. That 12% is astronomical. A $2 million home, you could buy any house on the lake for that. That's ridiculous. All right. So that is the amount paid. That is this number that we just found in the long run, the total number that you're going to pay. Now, the interest paid, So I'm going to switch up the color again. The extra money that you're going to pay the bank is where you take this $2.5 million, this $2,516,474, and you're going to subtract the mortgage you just took. And this will be the extra money that you paid the bank. So you're paying the bank $2,446,474.89. That's the extra money that you're paying the bank to take out that loan. The home costs $70,000. The extra money you paid the bank. Probably most banks would not allow you to take this loan. They'd scrub it. They'd say your interest rates are too high and they won't allow it. They're not gonna, some banks will say, yeah, we'll take that, but you're not going to be able to afford that home if you look at what the monthly payments would be. And that's what the next couple questions are based on. All right, let's jump into it. Next question here. Find the mortgage. Same thing. We have a 9% interest. This is really high. And we're going 40 years now. That's even worse. Because the more years, the more they're going to charge you. So it's kind of scary. This is a $50,000 home. Significantly less priced home than the $70,000, but we're going to put this through 9% interest, 0.09, that's 9% for 12 months for 40 years. There's your formula. This will tell you your total amount paid. So 0.09 divided by 12 months is 0.0075. and add that to the number 1, and then we're going to put this all to the 480th power because that's 40 times 12. That's 480. All right, and then we're going to take that times $50,000. Okay, so 1.0075 all to the 480th power. 1.0075 all to the 480th power. This ends up being, if I did this right, this number in the back is 36.109902. All right, it keeps going. We're going to take that times $50,000, and this ends up being 1.805495.10. That's a $1 million home, almost $2 million. Significantly less priced home, right? It's $50,000, not $70,000. But it's because your interest is too high and the number of years you went out is too far. I would not take out a loan for this. It's ridiculous. A typical mortgage anymore around this area should be about 3%, not 9%. Now, even a 3% loan is an expensive loan. You're paying well over what you paid for that home. But 9%, that's just robbery. All right, moving on. That's the amount paid that you did on this one. Last question, it wants to figure out monthly payment. So you have to figure out, what you're paying total, and then, divide by how many months and how many years you're going. This will tell you your monthly payments for this home. Now, this is a reasonable home. Not the, it's a $95,000. That's an expensive home, but I'm talking about the 3%. Significantly less. Now, just think back to those last two questions we did. A $70,000 home at 12% was $2.5 million. $50,000 home at 9% was $1.8 million. This will hopefully be significantly less. And this is a very expensive home. It's more expensive than the other ones, but it has a better interest rate. So, let's go through the numbers here. $95,000 at 3%, 0.03. Divide that by 12. And then we're going to go 12 times 20. All right. And this will give me my total amount that I'm going to pay for this loan. It's not monthly payment, it's just total amount. So 0.03 divided by 12 is 0.0025. We're going to add that to the number 1. And then we're going to put this to the 240th power. It's 12 times 20. All right. So adding these together, it's 1.0025. We're going to put that to the 240th power, and then take it times $95,000. And so your total, 1.0025 to the 240th power, this ends up being a reasonable one, and I always say that is reasonable, 1.8207. And we're going to take this times 95 95,000. So times 95,000. This is $172,971.72. Not $1,000,000 home. A very reasonable priced home. I'm just going to go back and check that maybe I typed in some other numbers wrong that we did earlier. No, I mean, this is a reasonable priced home. 1.0025, all to the 240th power. Yeah, like, it's just the interest rate, it was just astronomically lower. This is a good priced home. I know you're doubling the price of your home by taking out this loan, but at 3%, you're not in the $1,000,000 territory anymore. It's a reasonably priced home. And this is over 20 years. Now, to figure out what your total monthly payments are, what you have to do is you have to take this number, this the total that you're paying. You have to take this number, divide by 20 years, because you're going to have to pay a certain chunk every year, and then divide by how many months are in a year. So I'm going to do this one at a time. So 172,971.72. I'm going to divide this by 20, and then divide this by 12. So it looks like my monthly payments, if I did this, are $720.72. A very reasonably priced home. All right. That was the last question. Hopefully you're taking care of yourself. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to call me or email me. I'm always available. Thanks.